Congress, my first priority is solving the fentanyl epidemic. Washington divides us, but there's more that unites us. Randy was my brother. I'll try being yours as well.
That's the latest ad from Republican congressional candidate Scott Baugh talking about losing his brother to fentanyl in 2020. Scott joins us now in studio. Welcome back to The Issue Is.
Good to be with you,
Good to
Alex.
see you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry for the loss of your brother. Why was it so important for you to talk about that?
Well, I lost my brother in 2020, and we never brought this up in the 2022 election. But since then, we've had hundreds of thousands of families been torn apart by fentanyl poisonings. We have 120,000 deaths in 2023 from drug overdoses. This is fentanyl coming across the southern border, and it's tearing families apart. And there's a lot of pain out there, and we just think it needs to be addressed and stopped.
And to that point, you say that's going to be your number one priority. What specific policy-wise are you going to do differently than Dave Min when it comes to fentanyl?
Well, first of all, Dave Min believes in open borders. I don't believe in open borders. I believe in a secure border and then robust immigration that's legal. But if we secure our border, you stop all this fentanyl that's coming in. That's number one. Number two, there's a drug it's called naloxone. It's a drug, a reversal agent, if you will, that allows people to come out of this deep coma they go into with fentanyl. And we just need to have more education on that and more fentanyl or more naloxone distributed out into the community.
Yeah, and it really is amazing how that saves lives if somebody has it in the right moment. So let's talk about the border a little bit. Sure. You were not a supporter of that bipartisan border bill that came out last year. What specifically do you think you could get passed and signed if you were a member of Congress on the border?
Well, specifically, about 90% of it can be done with administrative orders, which is why you didn't have a lot of illegal immigration when Trump was president, and you had 15 million come in when Joe Biden is president. So a lot of it's going to be cleaned up with administrative orders if Trump wins. And then secondarily, you need funding to finish the wall. Now, I don't think you need a wall from end to end, but you certainly need a wall in certain places. And again, my philosophy is a tall fence and a wide gate, because we are a generous country. We allow a lot of immigration in here, but it has to be legal, because illegal immigration brings drugs, it brings a sex trafficking, and it brings terrorism. We know there's terrorists. 2 million gotaways got in here, and we know there's going to be something bad that happens because of these policies that have allowed 15 million people to come in.
Supporters of that bipartisan immigration bill last year, including Kamala Harris, say that would have been tough on immigration. It would have increased border funding. It would have increased help to the Border Patrol. It would have increased technology to the area. What's wrong with it?
Elex, that border bill allowed 1 million new people to come in every year. It was a bit of a pig in a poke, and I think I explained that to you last time we were here. It was more of a facade to pretend you were doing something as opposed to real action that needs to be done on our border.
Another big issue in this election is abortion. The Min campaign points to a quote that you gave the LA Times back in 1998, which is quite simply, "I do not support abortion in any form." Is that your view? Can you clarify what your view is on abortion?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that question. I'm a pro-life guy. I'm personally pro-life, but my personal views on that don't reflect what I do as a policymaker. I don't think the federal government should step in and ban abortion at all. Dave Min's running ads that are just lies about what I would do. The state of California has enshrined in our Constitution women's health and the right to choose in our Constitution. I would never let the federal government come in and overrule that and overrule the will of the people of California.
So this idea of a potential 15-week national abortion ban, which has been pushed by some Republicans, that's not something you would vote for?
I don't think so. I wouldn't vote for that, because I think what you're doing is you're trying to create a one-size-fits-all solution for every state in this nation. And the states are sorting this out and working it out. California is more liberal on it. Other states are less liberal on it. But let the states sort this out. Because if the feds get in and do a one-size-fits-all solution, they're probably going to get it wrong for somebody. They're going to get it wrong for this state or that state. So let the states sort it out.
Okay, let's talk about Donald Trump for a moment. That's something else the Min campaign often tries to tie you to. Are there any specific policies that you disagree with him on?
Oh, well, sure. On trade policies, there's sort of a populism that goes on with some of Donald Trump's policies. But at the end of the day, I'm a constitutional conservative. I believe we should follow the Constitution. And if it's in the Constitution, let's follow that constitutional document. But if it's not, let's not play the game. And I think that with trade policy and trade wars, it's not healthy. It ultimately hurts the American consumer.
What would your relationship be with him? What would you want to work with him on? How would you see Trump if he's president?
Well, so I've never met Mr. Trump, and I am voting for him. But I'm going to advance what I need to advance in Congress, whether it's spending restrictions, because we have $35 trillion in debt and it's going up $2 trillion every year. We need to get on top of that because our debt to GDP ratio is inverted. We have to stop that. We're stealing from the next generation. So I would work on those things a lot and hopefully bring a package to him that he can sign.
On the issue of guns, we know that Dave Min has been active in the state Senate in pushing for different gun control measures, some of which just were upheld by the courts this week. What do you see as the federal role when it comes to guns? Do we need more restrictions?
Well, Elex, we've seen that gun control laws, you can outlaw an AR 16 times. It's not going to change what's happening out there. The gun laws are on the books. We just need to enforce them. We need to make sure we do more red flag laws and make sure that people that have mental illness or have a criminal background never get a gun. But this leads into the crime issue, and I hope you want to cover the crime issue a bit, because we have a proliferation of crime in this county, Orange County. We've had a murder at Fashion Island. We had a murder at Huntington Beach, like 2 blocks from where I was having dinner the other night. And a friend of mine just got shot at South Coast Plaza Mall last Sunday because somebody wanted to do a smash and grab. These are out of control policies that are brought on by Dave Min, and I can tell you all of the bills he supported: no cash bail, suppressing the felony records of people who have felonies on their records. He voted for a bill that made it more difficult for the police to investigate sex crimes, including sex crimes with 11-year-old girls.
So from a crime perspective in the House, what are you going to do?
Well, first of all, you have to make sure you don't allow this progressive, I call it a regressive infection, hit the federal judiciary. And we need to make sure that, like, for example, the trafficking of children coming across our border is stopped. That's what you can do at the federal level.
Just to wrap up on the gun thing, though, is there any other gun restrictions that you would support? Background checks?
Well, sure. We support, you should do background checks. Nobody that has a mental health history or a criminal background should ever have access to a gun. So we don't disagree on that at all.
In terms of Dave Min wanted to debate you, we'd hoped to have this be a debate with the two of you on the set together. Why the decision not to debate him?
Well, we've made several agreements to debate. In fact, in Orange County, not up here in L.A., but in Orange County, and Dave Min has backed out of 2 of them. And so he says, I backed out of a debate. That's nonsense. We've never agreed to do anything here, but we did in Orange County. And just yesterday, I got a note from Speak Up Newport that said Dave Min has agreed, or he said he's not going to participate in that debate. So I'm willing to do it. He's not willing. He's playing games with it.
Well, if you want to do one in Orange County, I'm happy to moderate.
Oh, come on down to Orange County.
I'd be happy to do it there. You know, you've been campaigning now for this job. You campaigned against Katie Porter. You spend so much time in the district talking to people every single day from all walks of life. What's the biggest lesson you've learned from maybe somebody that you've met that's shaped your worldview?
Well, when I knock on doors, I walk every weekend and I talk to the people. The 3 biggest issues that come up are crime. Irvine in particular is one of the safest big cities in the country, and people are now bringing up crime all the time. You had 33 burglaries there. You have these smash and grabs going on, and you have murders. And it's like, that's not normal in Orange County. It's certainly not normal in Irvine. And now it's becoming a regular headline in our papers. And so that's probably the most interesting thing I've heard, where people are actually now afraid. They want safe neighborhoods and strong families, and they don't have it right now.
And in terms of on a personal level, have you been changed maybe by being out there on the campaign trail and talking to a lot of these folks?
Oh, sure. In fact, when I did my commercial, a lot of people bring it up and they talk about their own tragedy. So many people have told me about, in fact, 2 today, told me about losing a brother to fentanyl, and so there's pain in this community. But the good news is we can stop it. We can stop the flow of fentanyl. And again, if fentanyl were bullets, it would be outlawed. But we just need to make sure we secure our border so we don't bring those poisoning drugs into our community.
And if you had to make a real quick closing argument, what would it be?
Hey, the future of the direction, the free world's really at stake here. Control of Congress is very narrow, and we have to make sure that we set this country back on the right course. We need to be tough on our criminals. We need to enforce the criminal statutes. We need to get control of our debt, and we need to secure our southern border. And
what is the biggest single difference between a Republican House and a Democratic House?
Well, a Democrat House probably would engage in impeachment of Donald Trump once a week, just to obstruct everything. But the Democrat House will want more spending and open borders and less enforcement of the criminal statutes. The Republican House wants to be tough on crime. They want to get our debt under control, and they want to secure our border.
Lastly, we do something called personal issues on this show to get to know you. These are rapid fire questions, cultural favorites. So let's see what you got. All right, ready? 30 seconds on the clock. What's your favorite TV show?
TV show. I don't have a favorite.
The issue is, okay, favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Favorite musician or band?
The Silver Bullet Band, Bob Seger.
What's your favorite way to relax?
Oh, I do picture books. That's my hobby. I take a lot of pictures and I put them together in albums.
What's the best restaurant in Orange County?
Oh, I like Alessa.
Okay, and who is your role model?
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan, why is that?
Because he believes in hope and prosperity for the American people by getting government out of the way and letting the American people be free, because when the American people are free, there's nothing they can't accomplish.
All right. Well, as you just heard, there's a big difference between Dave Min and Scott Baugh, and voters, it's up to you to figure out which one is in line with you. Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you.
Really
Pleasure.
appreciate it. Hopefully we can do something in Orange County. Thanks so much. We'll be back with our panel up in Sacramento, an all-star group. That's when we come back.